Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for always supporting our channel. Yesterday, we saw Cleophas Malala and Boni Khalwale reaching an agreement where Malala is going to seek Kakamega gubernatorial seat on ANC, and UDA is going to give the senatorial ticket to none other than Boni Khalwale. Now, while there was celebration on that side of Kakamega, but I want to bring your attention to another. I want to bring your attention to how this is negotiated and why it is also bringing a trouble on the other side. Last Friday, I analyzed here on fallouts that were imminent in Western Kenya because of an agreement that was there that ANC was supposed to field candidate exclusively in the Western in terms of what is called now party zoning, so that UDA will take charge of other counties. Then, according to that agreement, ANC was supposed to field the governor candidate in Kakamega, Vihiga, then Ford Kenya was to take charge of Bungoma and Trans Nzoia. Then Busia will still be an ANC UDA change, but of course ODM is very strong there. But this is not to mean that ODM do not have support in the other counties. Then in Nairobi, there will also be another negotiated democracy between Magret Wanjiru and Johnson Sakaja. So this is why I read an article, I think over the weekend, that the technical team was meeting on Wednesday. And the Wednesday meeting that was yesterday is the one that was crafting the lineup for those candidates and how it was going to happen. Now, after, or not even after, before Malala and Boni Khalwale held that meeting and that agreement, because we are told that meeting just went for around 1 hour, there was a lot that had been done. There was another meeting to find a truce between Sakaja and Magret Wanjiru. And I will tell you the outcome of that meeting because it seems it did not see the light of the day. First, Sakaja was not personally in attendance, but Magret Wanjiru was there. Now, that negotiated democracy is working, and I think I support consensus because consensus is one way to avoid fallouts. We better agree before we go to nominations, because after nomination, if you lose, you lose. Then it will now take, you will be at the mercies of the party to decide whether to absorb you or not. Because at the end of the day, there is only one governor. So personally, I think consensus is the way to go. Now, Magret Wanjiru had been talking to Sakaja to find the person that can actually fly that ticket. Now, according to what the criteria of this consensus to work is one, you look at the popularity of the candidate, then the most popular candidate should be given the ticket. But again, that popularity vary depending on who is doing the opinion poll. There is another opinion poll showing Magret Wanjiru is ahead. The other one is showing Sakaja is ahead. So it is not really trustworthy, but it is one way. Secondly, they look at the campaign resource. Do you have the resource to campaign as a gubernatorial candidate? In fact, let me just say this just on the other side. I was getting some, I was reading some intel somewhere that Malala Khalwale was just asked to show evidence that he can campaign against the ODM candidate in Kakamega. You know, ODM have Baraza, who you're told is a big, is really rolling, is really have big financial muscle, have a good finance to campaign for that candidate, for that seat. So, and Boni Khalwale could not show that he has the capacity to campaign. That's That's something that is really considered. So that is another thing that is put. Then on the third aspect, criteria to check is competitor. How is your competitors? We must pick a candidate that must have an advantage or at least an edge against competitors. So that is something that is also looking at, and that is why Magret, Wanjiru and Sakaja, in fact, we understand that there is no agreement so far. These talks have been going on, but there is no agreement. But if there is a place that they really wanted to end the crossfire, is in Nairobi. But remember, Nairobi is the center of the Kenyan capital. It's the capital city. So everyone wants to take control of Nairobi. The candidates in Nairobi and other parts had been instructed by the UDA that you were not to unveil campaign publicity and material publicly before you get the ticket. And if you check, you will realize that Sakaja have never unveiled his cars and the campaign machinery branded for governor candidate, as a governor candidate or senator, before this agreement. But Magret Wanjiru went ahead and even defied that order from UDA and unveiled her campaign cars and buses and the caravan. And these are the ones that you're seeing here. In fact, they were published in the Facebook page. So this has been here. Now, Deputy President was supposed to visit Magret Wanjiru's church. If you remember, Ruto is really deep-rooted in using church as a tool to campaign, but he has not made that. He has not made that because of that agreement has not been done. Because when he steps in Magret Wanjiru's church, it will be that he has already endorsed. The optics will show, and most likely, if he attends that service, and of course it's a church service where Magret Wanjiru enjoys the full support, they will try to run a lot. Speakers will talk about William Ruto to endorse Magret Wanjiru. So that is the dynamics that are playing against the tide. So ladies and gentlemen, I want us to look at why in some few issues that are emerging, why Magret Wanjiru is hell-bent to cede ground for Sakaja, because the Kenya Kwanza team wants Sakaja to be the candidate. Comparing on the other side, the candidate on Azimio, the candidate will be likely Richard Ngatia. So Richard Ngatia and Wanjiru on the ticket is a bit not working. But again, Wanjiru team is saying, what if ANC is to take the governor candidate in Kakamega, then on that same agreement, Nairobi candidate should go to UDA. This is something that is still negotiated. But I can tell you that, guys, in this consensus, you candidates talk. But again, at some point, you must also please the boss. Sometimes money has to exchange hands. So why is this Nairobi race becoming a headache for UDA? And it's a very precarious seat. It's putting DP Ruto in a precarious condition because there are things that are still emerging. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to request you kindly to subscribe to our channel, and also I normally say like our videos. When you like our videos, they will be really suggested to many people, and also more importantly, give us your feedback. Who is best fit to be Nairobi governor? Ask yourself that question. Now, I want us to look at the emerging issues that is now shaping the Nairobi city. Number one, William Ruto is very keen on getting Nairobi support. And so he needs a candidate that can bring the Nairobi vote. The reason why he doesn't want also to lose Magret Wanjiru is, first, the archetype that Magret Wanjiru represents is women. That is one. And especially if you look at her photos in the campaign rallies, she's putting on this stuff that women use when they are selling. That is one. Two, she has a chunk of fanatical support in that church. Now, these are two groups that are very special to DP Ruto. And so, even though Sakaja might be a very strong candidate, but Magret Wanjiru carries with herself that audience. And this audience is the audience in Nairobi that votes. So, in part of what is considering, that is what is making it a little bit difficult also for DP Ruto to choose between Wanjiru and Sakaja. Because Sakaja is popular on, but the audience that Sakaja brings is an audience that DP Ruto can still convince him. But the other team, women and the church, the church members that really are behind, are strongly behind Magret Wanjiru, are likely to support William Ruto. If you look at UDA, we have Senator Kihika seeking governor in Nakuru. We have Waiguru, Kirinyaga, Aisha Jumwa, Mombasa, Kilifi. I think those three. I can categorically mention those three. We also have the women rep in Nairobi. If you can, you realize that Magret Wanjiru is not a strong member of that team. She's not really. She doesn't gel well with that team. She's more of an outsider from the UDA Women League. But there is something that she's having. She's a gamer. And Ruto wants the gamer or the Kikuyu vote in Nairobi. So she might strike a balance whether Musalia Mudavadi can convince the Western votes in Nairobi to UDA so that also to get Kikuyu vote in Nairobi, she picks Magret Wanjiru. Because if Magret Wanjiru walks out of UDA because of this, what is likely to happen is she's going to run a narrative that DP Ruto do not have the interest of Gema in him. That is something that is likely there. And of course, Magret Wanjiru is finding it difficult because I want to believe that the Central Kenya MPs in UDA are not backing her. They are not backing her. They are more likely supporting Johnson Sakaja. So Johnson Sakaja is getting the support of the Rigathi Gachagua, the Ndindi Nyoros and the likes. And on the other side, he's also getting the support of ANC because there is a thought that the person who convinced Mudavadi to join Ruto was Sakaja. And in that deal, he is part of what they must get now. 3, there is a big thing. Sakaja is not getting Sonko. Remember, the Mike Sonko does not support Sakaja. And this is something that William Ruto is wary of. And of course, if UDA picks Sakaja, Sonko might have an influence behind the scene to make sure that Sakaja loses that seat. In fact, there is a likelihood that Sonko might support Mulwa or Magret Wanjiru if she doesn't go. Lastly, if Ruto doesn't pick Wanjiru also, Wanjiru might run with the Ruto that Ruto is not having the interest of Nairobi women. Just the same, that ties to the first point. The gender card might play against him, especially in Nairobi. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. There are two options that were on table for Magret Wanjiru, either to deputize Sakaja or to go for Senate. But Senate also has a lady known as, I think, Karen Nyamu, who she can be sidelined. She's dispensable, if you ask me. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's my analysis.